Unbeaten at home in Europe in Ipswich Town's history. Can we win at bloody Oxford? No. Welcome. Dave, was that the worst performance of the season?
What on Friday night?
That's the game we're talking about, Dave.
Yes, sorry, no. Well, it wasn't
I'm
as
testy
well.
tonight, Dave. Don't push me.
All right. If you'd have heard my rant on the midweek show after the Hull game, no, it wasn't. It certainly wasn't as bad as the first 60 minutes against Hull the other night.
I wasn't even our worst performance this week.
No, it was. I don't think so. But overall, one of them, I'd say, but probably not the worst.
What the hell went wrong, Joe?
Same as been going wrong all season, really, that we don't take our chances when we get them. We probably, at times, concede when we can sort of concede a bad goal. It just messes with our minds and we sort of lose the plot for a few minutes after it. But really, it's just execution in the final third, isn't it?
Yep.
We had that chances to win that game 3 times over, and it always seems we sort of get the minimum that you can expect out of a game, and that was very much the case on Friday.
Yeah. I know comparison is the thief of joy, Dave, but I can't help. I saw you at the game at the Vic this time last year, concede a completely crappy goal, go on and win the game in that season, whereas there's just not quite that intangible. I don't know what the word. I'm sure the team has got spirit. I'm sure there's lots of stuff. You know, they've bonded well together, but they just don't have that zhuzh, the little extra bit to get through hard moments, do they?
Joe made a good comment today in the chat, and I think I'll get
one
this
a day
right.
from Joe.
Let me think this through. I think he said 2 seasons ago we got the maximum out of every single game. We squeezed the maximum out of every single game. We got the maximum we deserved, let's say, out of every single game. And this year we're probably somehow contriving to get the minimum out of perhaps what we deserve. But that goes on, as Joe quite rightly said, on chances. I thought that was a pretty good analogy and summed it up really well. We just found that, 2 seasons ago, as you say, we rode the lightning and just found a way pretty much every single time. And then when we didn't, Leeds completely capitulated anyway. I mean, it was just mad, wasn't it? Crazy.
And I'm sure, Dave, if I ask you how we do that, you'd say, if I knew that, I wouldn't be sat here. I'd be a millionaire football manager.
Millionaire, Rodney. Quite right. Yeah.
Do you want to, what does that say there? 53 big chances, 37 missed. There we go. Joe, do you want to take that and run with it, if that was your comment earlier?
Yeah, so it's basically just sort of saying, I think your performances give you a range of points that you're going to get in the league, sort of probably a 20-point range. And in that 23-24 season, our performance probably gave us sort of somewhere between like 75 and 95 points. We walked away with 96. This year, we're probably slightly lower, probably slightly higher, but we're going to get less points. We're probably sort of 80 to 100, but we're going to get 80. And that might end up being enough, but it's, like I say, you look at the 3 games in isolation this week. Wrexham game on Saturday, they have 3 touches in our box. We dominate the game. We don't create huge amounts, but any other day you probably win that game. Hull midweek, nothing for 60 minutes, but then after that we just run riot really and could win more comfortably than the 2. And then yesterday, a game that we edge probably chance wise, but yet we lose it 2-1. And it's just a week where you could easily say that's a 9-point week on sort of performances, and not to say we've blown 3 teams away and we deserve to win 4 games, but the range of points for this week from performances is probably 4 to 9, and we end up with 4. And it feels like we did this all last season, not all last season. The second half of the season we just were nowhere near it. But you look at the start of the season, and at home we had sort of Aston Villa, Fulham, even sort of up to Man United. All these draws at home where we were the team pushing Leicester. We were sort of the team pushing towards the end of these games. The team that looked like they're going to win, maybe not the Leicester game, that was like the 96th-minute equalizer, and we just haven't been able to find a way now for sort of 18 months of getting more than we deserve, and you need to get more than you deserve to get there. Like I say, you look at Coventry over the season, any tight game, if they find a way to win it, and we're in a position now where we find a way to not win it, we find a way to draw it, we find a way to lose it when you could get out there with a win. And I'd say Friday's game, we'll come on to it, but their keeper mates, I'd say 3 really good saves.
He was quality
in the game.
half, wasn't he?
like Matasiwa gives the ball away. Christian Watt makes a good save, but it somehow falls back. It just goes straight back to Mark Harris. Yeah, it's on his left foot and it's a hard chance, but it just rolls straight back to him with an empty net and he puts it away.
Are you just going to do the whole game on your own now, Joe?
Yeah, I'll just get
He's done it.
Soliloquy pod now.
Yeah,
Dave,
we're just not getting the luck. Maybe we used it all up in that season, but and I'm sure people will say it's mentality, it's leadership, it's this, it's that. No one knows, and if they did know, they'd do it. But ultimately, football, as a manager, as Kieran McKenna's doing, is about trying to create as many big chances in the games you can, and try as few big chances in the games you can. And I think we're top of the league for big chances, maybe even above Coventry. And I think defensively, we're sort of third best for big chances conceded. And you think, well, we're doing what we can, but it's just execution at both ends of the pitch. And that's what's going to define the team, how good you are in both boxes. We seem to be very good in the middle one, getting it up to their one and not having it come back to our one. But let's say, even as on this season, he's had 10 big chances. He scored 1 goal. And you look at some of the big chances he's missed. Watford, fantastic save from the keeper, which turns 1 point.
Still going, Dave.
Friday night, 1 point from the keeper. That's a great save from the keeper. Turns 0 points into 1, and I'm sure there's more examples like that because he's come on as a sub a lot and had chance at the end.
I had a question for you halfway through that, Dave, but I think I'll just do my normal bit and we'll move into the game now. And welcome,
that's all right. That's all right.
Welcome everyone to the Blue Monday podcast, a therapy session. At least the game was on Friday. A very frustrating defeat. It was Oxford United 2, Ipswich Town 1. If you are here with us, come in and join the group hug and get your views in the live chat. Also, make sure you have hit the thumbs up button if you're here on YouTube and you've subscribed to our wonderful channel. Dave, sorry, I haven't pressed my correct buttons on here. Team news on Friday night. And remember, and we will give some mitigation here, tricky logistically. We talked about this a lot with it being a Friday night game with an away game in midweek at Hull and knowing you're going to Blackburn on Tuesday. A few comments about the team. I think had basically got home from Hull, had a sleep, probably done a warm down session, basically got straight off to Oxford to go and sort of train up there. And I did want to make mention, Joe's mentioned this before, Dave, about the logistics of these 3 game weeks. Fair play, Sheffield United. They had 2 away games and got a 9-point week. But we do find teams that play away twice, particularly back-to-back away games, struggle in these weeks. Dave, this is a real rarity this week. You're getting to say nothing. I'm going to read the team and then you will get to speak, Mr. Diamond. Christian Walton in goal. Furlong, Davis, O'Shea. Is it Greaves? Is it Kipray? Is it Greaves? It's Kipray. Matasiwa, more from him later. And Jack Taylor. Eggerly, Nunez, Philogene, and Hurst. Your thoughts on the 11, David? Enjoy it.
Oh, I've got nothing. No. It's beginning to annoy me now. This rotation is really beginning to annoy me. I can understand 2 of the front 5, perhaps, not necessarily any particular order. The centre backs, you cannot keep rotating game on game your centre backs. Greaves, I thought, was perfectly good against Hull, as Rob said in the chat there. Why? He was on the bench. Greaves, I've not got this wrong. Greaves was on the bench the other night, wasn't he? I'm sure he was. Why was he rotated out the other night? I don't get it. It's not as if Hull play with a 6'5" lamping striker, is it? Just did not understand that one bit. And it does unbalances. It really does unbalance it.
Hull have actually got the hottest striker in the league at the moment, Dave. As well.
Gelhardt, absolutely. Well, he's what's he? 5'10", maybe 9'10".
But then you could say, why was Greaves rotated in for that game after Kipper done perfectly well against Wrexham? Who's got the shirt at the moment?
Who knows? It's Kipper at the moment, isn't it? But it's just,
I don't know. Is it?
Well, he's got it at the moment because he played the other night.
Say on Tuesday.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, I can quite understand. I mean, was the Wrexham game was more always going to be missing that game, or was that up till last minute decision?
No, I think we knew a fair few days before.
I could, had looking at potentially more playing that game, and maybe that's how they trained a week with a view to more playing in that game, I get Kipre. That game, I get Kipre. And I guess I get Greaves coming in for the whole game, but Greaves, perfectly adequate, nice balance, didn't do anything wrong. I just could that one I couldn't understand. Couldn't understand it at all.
And Joe, what about Cajuste and Taylor?
Well, Kiyus went off injured and wasn't on the bench, so he was out. So that was a fairly obvious change. It was the only thing we could do. So other than the defence, all we've really changed was the two wingers, which is sort of not huge changes. It just changes.
Well, and that always happens in game as well, Joe, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I think the rotation has calmed down a little bit, but it's just I've sort of put it in the chat.
Dave hasn't.
We put it in there about the centre backs. I don't really get the centre backs. We spoke like Oscar, who does the behind the score line, available on Top Tier for members there. How good was that, by the way? He spoke about how it seems that if we're playing teams where we go man for man marking against them, you maybe play Greaves because you can come out of it, and then zonal games you're playing Kipre. But for me, I think that's too much. That's too much. Just get your partnership there. Hopefully, because he's our player, Darrow, Shea, Jacob Greaves. I think that you wanted them to be playing 40 plus games alongside each other this season,
especially in a 3-game weekend on a Friday, Joe.
Yeah, and there's talk about it's like the promotion season with George Edmondson coming in for whoever. But I think Edmondson started 9 games that season, and 3 or 4 of which were when Burgess was away on international duty. So he came in like 3 times. There was like 3 games when he came in, and I think it was like Hull at home, Coventry away, and one other, like where they actually changed it. You're talking like 3 out of 46 games where there was an actual tactical change there, where we're just flipping it game after game in that one. And yeah, no, I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't get it. But it'd be interesting to know, is one of them playing for an injury that he can't play 2 games? Like Greaves is the first choice, but he's got something up with him so he can't train. I don't know. Who knows? But it does seem unsatisfactory at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What about the 10, Dave? Nunez in from the start, and I mean we'll talk about this. It's going to have a bit of a frustrating performance where it almost felt. I mean, it's easy. Captain hindsight here can say after the fact, almost felt like he was looking forward to a nice game where he had loads of time on the ball. And with hindsight, he wasn't the right guy, was he? Bless him.
Well, with hindsight, perhaps it should have been Akpom, who obviously got his goal, admittedly from sort of 2 yards, but broke his duck. Broke his duck at Hull. Perhaps it should have been Akpom. Egley, for me the other night, that first half did okay. Perhaps he could have done better with the header, maybe even the shot, but he just looked lost out there the other night. He had no impact at all, no impact whatsoever the other night. But look, he's a kid. He's 19. He'll be a great player for us, but just weren't his night. The other night.
Yeah, right. Oxford coming in goal. Long and Curry, the fullbacks. Brown and Hellick, the centre backs. The Kirschmacher, you probably quite liked on the ball, Dave, didn't you? And Volks, him of the mega long throw. Mills and Krastev wide. And then the Harris on loan from Fulham is Luke in the 10, and the Harris up top is Mark. And Joe, you were, or was it Dave? It feels like, I hate doing this. Every podcast you listen to in the world, someone says, oh yeah, we were talking before we started recording. And now I'm going to say, we were talking before we started recording about the first sort of 24 minutes before we concede a goal. It's all right, wasn't it, Joe?
Yeah, we were really sort of building up the pressure, sort of starting to crank up, playing from back to front. They just didn't really have a kick from that point. And yeah, I know the stat at half time that we didn't have a shot on target, but Egley had that really good chance his left foot in the box where he should have hit the target, hits a post with another one. So, well, would he have been better looping that back into the goalie's hands? Yes. The stat looked better. Or I think he'd been better looping it back across the goal because
it was a tight angle. 6-yard box?
Yeah, it was a tight angle to get down there. And yeah, Leif Davis got into the box 2 or 3 times. Him and Philogene were combining well up until the goal. And I just thought we were playing really well. And it was like, this looks like it sort of having a group chat with non-Ipswich fans, football fans. And this looks like it's going to be a really, really long night for Oxford. And then all of a sudden we play out from the back, and the guy who's been Mr. Reliable for us. What happens next?
Well, what happens next, everyone knows what happens next, is the bit where Ben moves his chair back because he's got to go. Crap! And Dave is going to describe an awful goal. Rubbish!
And of that first 24 minutes, Matty was playing at a level above anyone else on the pitch. He was absolutely superb, getting hold of the ball. He played a brilliant ball out to Philogene for that could have been one of the Egley chance. I think it perhaps was the header. He was having an outstanding game. Really was bossing everything. And it comes from it's a free kick. So I think the ball's pumped high into the box, and Walton comes a hell of a long way to try and punch it away. Gets impeded by, I think it's Hellick backs into him. So it's our free kick, pretty much on the edge of our box. I think he knocks it to Kipray, usual fashion. Kipray knocks it to Davis. And Matasiwa drops off his man. Davis knocks it inside, and it's just sloppy, isn't it? I'm not even sure. It was just a sloppy pass. He scuffs the ball.
Davis's technique, he doesn't kick through the ball. If you watch the replay,
Matasiwa,
sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he kind of whether he's in two minds, whether he's trying to play that back to Walton, but it's between the centre backs. It's not to either O'Shea or Kipray, sort of in the middle. And look, fair play to Harris. He anticipates it sort of straight to him. He's on it, hits it nicely. Hits it quite nicely, keeps it low, decent save, good block, and followed up, goes straight back to Harris, who follows it in.
Well, he has two goes at it. This is the worst thing about it. When you're looking at the kind of stat padding and the chances, it's essentially a mistake, Dave, that gives 2 1v1s as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, so it's just a horrible goal, and it's so avoidable. But it's just a shame because, I say, he'd been having such a great game up till then, and it did affect him. It certainly affected him for the rest of the first half. He wasn't the same after that. Albeit the players, as we do, got around him and obviously G'd him up and get on with it. But, he's having a great season, but just one of those things. And another individual error, unfortunately, that gives them the ascendancy, which they did for a few minutes after that.
Anything to add to that, Joe?
No, not really. It's just balls up, isn't it? Total balls up, and like I say, you almost get out of jail with it. The keeper makes a good save, but I saw somebody say, he parried it straight back to him. That was hit so hard from so close. You keep that out, but it just goes straight back to him, and he takes a second chance really well. But he's very lucky to get a second bite of the cherry. But that's the way things seem to be going for us at the moment, and it is what it is. 1-0 down, and then from that point on, we're back to almost like Middlesbrough away, where we just let the goal and we just lose our heads a little bit and keep giving the ball
Joe,
away.
that Sky
Their tails are up, ours go the other way.
That Sky stat did annoy me, that 30 games without winning from behind, because how many of them were in the Premier League?
I'd say most of them, because
we must have been behind.
We weren't behind at Coventry, were we, in that second to last game of the season? I
think it was Port Vale, was it? Someone said.
No, that's the year before, wasn't it? We must have done it.
I know, because
Rotherham, we were behind against, weren't we?
Yeah, behind. Well, there was a few at the end of the season. Bristol City, we were twice behind.
Oh yeah, we were. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just one of those nearly any stat involving us is quite pointless at the moment because it doesn't really show anything. But if you know what I mean, those. Oh, you haven't done this. Your first away win for 12 months. It's like, or whatever it is, because. I say, of those 30 games where we conceded the first goal, one of those was against Man City at home, or where they beat us 6-0, or Liverpool at home, or Liverpool away, or all these games where you're playing the best teams in the world. Arsenal at home, Arsenal away. Well, yeah, of course we're not going to come back from those games when we went 1-0 up, when we went 1-0 down. But yeah, there is. I think they're the sort of thing that you want sorted in this league, though.
Have to, yeah, have to.
Especially if we keep conceding it.
Dave, it's not even sleepwalking, this kind of feeling at halftime, because it's eyes wide open. And I've said this a few times since the game. There was one way Oxford were going to beat us in this, given how much more budget we've got than them, and the two squads. They were going to hang in there, hope maybe for a bit of luck, take their chances, hope we had an off day in front of goal. Maybe their keeper's going to play well. And at halftime, you're already seeing, there's the mistake. We've given them the 1-goal lead. Yeah. Sky are telling the whole world we can't come from behind. And it's not sleepwalking when your eyes are open, is it, Dave? How are you feeling at halftime?
Yeah, it was just, again, just normal frustration, wasn't it? Probably not as frustrated when we're drawing with Hull on the Tuesday evening, because that was just
You sound
poor.
really frustrated about that.
Well, mate, that was awful. But yeah, just again frustrated. But you could see us, at least it was early enough, 20. And I think, we sort of certainly lost the ascendancy for like 10, 15 minutes after the goal. But I think we got back some control towards the end of the first half, again, without creating anything and having a shot on target. So yeah, you go into halftime thinking, okay, it's an individual error. Let's get over that. Let's get the next goal, and we're going to go on and win the game.
And out we come for the second half. What minute was the goal? 53. So we go straight to the goal. You can do this one, Joe. Is this corner meant to go to Davis?
It looks like it, doesn't it? Because I don't really see why he'd be there otherwise. It sort of goes over the top of everyone, and the blocks are to leave it open there. But it's a
hell of a finish.
Whether it gets there or not, it's such a good finish, isn't it? You always want to see him lace it in, don't you? Like really go up and lace it, but it's probably harder to do what he's done. Where
you'll lose the ball in that stadium if you stick your laces for a volley at that end of the pitch.
TGI Fridays, won't it? Frankie and Benny's, but yeah, but it's just a lovely left-footed shot, isn't it? Jack Taylor does well to sort of move someone out of the way, and it just is unstoppable. It's an unstoppable finish, and it's as good a technical goal as you'll see at any level, isn't it?
Rubbish.
You like that one, Dave? You want to enjoy that before we start getting vexed?
Yeah, rubbish. Again? Get a bloody man on the post, Oxford. What's the matter with you? Rowett must have been spitting feathers on that one. No, it's a great technique. It's a funny goal because usually those sort of goals you don't see like hanging crosses like that. You see the crosses like I know I meant Skulls. Beckham for Skulls at Bradford. I know it's a ridiculous. I know it's a ridiculous
that, Dave.
Well, no, exactly. You drill it in flat, don't you? You drill it in flat. So it was a bit of a hang on. So yeah, it was obviously a training ground move, an absolute unbelievable finish, really. I mean, those you hit with your laces, don't you? But the actual side foot cushion and with power as well, just perfectly curved away from the keeper in the unguarded right post, away from the keeper. So yeah, and 54, and it's just what we wanted. Here we go. Let's go on and win the game.
Here we go, Dave. Parachute FC. Come on, away we go. Win the game. Yep.
Here we go. However, for once, I think. We were out. Well, not for once, maybe not this season. We were out substituted without a doubt in that game.
Yeah, I mean, Rowett goes to the bench first, and I was quite interested, particularly that Lancashire didn't start, because I just thought that they went with Harris last season, and Lancashire's clearly been brought on loan to play ahead of Harris, but. Harris scored in the first half.
Wasn't it always also Harris's like first goal in like 40 games or something ridiculous? Or
I did not know that, and I'm quite annoyed now you've told me
that. Or something like that.
What was that, mad. Sorry?
Stuff like 2 in 57 or something like that.
Stop it. And yeah, Mr. Premislav Plaheta. He's one of these classic championship players who's got a skill, can run very quickly, and from time to time will do something utterly brilliant, and then for the rest of the time remind you why he's playing in the championship, and that if he did that, the thing that he's kind of good at regularly, he would be playing in the Premier League. And we are going to respond. We'll go to Joe, actually. Clark, Young, and Akpom come in for, this is the 70th minute sub.
Philogene, Furlong, and Hurst.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? I assumed Egley would be coming off because he was struggling a little bit, wasn't he?
Yeah, so it was Akpom coming on as a 9 ahead of Azon instead of having someone come on in the 10. But I thought we were playing really well at this point. We created a lot of chances. Philogene had a good shot down low to keep his left coming, made a really good save from. He also got in and then sort of slipped when he was sort of trying to turn back on himself. Hurst got in from a long ball from, I think, O'Shea, and sort of took it down really nicely, and then just smashed it at goal, and it hits the keeper square in the face. Brilliant save. But
when they were doing the close-up, I genuinely thought he broke his nose there. I thought we're not going to see his nose get reset here.
Straight in on it, and we'd really come out of the traps quickly. We're playing really, really well, and then I say their goal, it comes from. And I know this is when people talk about us moving the ball slowly and progressively going forwards. And I think this is sometimes why you don't just play a loose crap ball into the box, because it is that from Jack Taylor, isn't it? It's just a diagonal into the box where our whole team is set in an attacking shape, and then he plays a really loose diagonal that doesn't clear anything, gets headed away, and the Belgian, is it? I think De Keersmaker.
Mertesacker.
De Keersmaker.
De Keersmaker spots the run of Plachetta and plays a perfect ball into him, and like Leif Davis is miles up the pitch because I think he's expecting
Through no fault of his own, for the people who like to yell at Leif Davis for not being in 8 places at one time.
It's just a bad ball from Jack Taylor, and you can't turn the ball over like that when you're set up in shape and they can hit you on the break. And he gets it down, and maybe O'Shea's too deep, and it sort of plays him onside. I don't know, but I think he might have even been in there half at that point, or he's just got a straight run and runs towards the goal, and he's still got a fair bit to do. And Walton sort of makes himself as wide as he can, but he just finds the corner, good fit, great finish, great run, took it well, comes across, and a really good finish. And it's just a sort of perfect counter-attacking goal, and the absolute last thing we needed, because Ashley Young had come on. He played a couple of nice balls into the forwards, and we look like we're pushing for the goal. And then before you know it, you've just got masses and masses of work to do again.
It's annoying, wasn't it, Dave? And Taylor in a foot race with Plachetta at the end of a 3-game week. Yeah, in one way.
I thought 20 yards behind him as well.
And I thought Taylor had a good. I thought Taylor had an adequate game the other night. Again, I thought he played pretty well. Yeah, Taylor. I thought he had a half decent game. It was just a nothing ball when there was a ball to feet for Akpom. Akpom showing there for a ball to feet there, but I don't know what he sees. He just throws a loop on it. So no, I don't think it is Hellick, but it's Nunes challenge. I know he scored a header unchallenged at Hull, but he's up against the other centre back. I don't know who it was. I don't think it was Hellick. Brown, I think it was Brown. Yeah. Good vision by, I'm going to call him Mertesacker. Good vision by Mertesacker. And
De Keersmaker.
And he runs from a long way. I mean, that pace, man, he runs from his own half. And it's a brilliant goal. The finish is great because his first touch is superb. It's
inside the post, Dave.
Can Taylor get close enough to him to take one for the team there? I'm not sure.
Take a red card?
Well, would it be a red card? I don't know.
Outside the box, it would be, even if he makes an attempt for the
possibly.
ball.
It's a great finish. I still maintain. Look, hindsight's a wonderful thing. If Greaves is playing, is he not naturally left-sided? Is he perhaps covering that? Look, who knows? I don't know. You can't, hindsight, but it was a brilliant finish and just a real kick in the proverbials because it'd been all us.
And Dave,
no, it hadn't. Just before they had the long throw from Vokes, where I think the other the other Harris gets in at the far post, and Walton makes a really good save, doesn't he? Point blank, he tries to.
Yes, I think Lancashire hooks it over him rather than leave it for Harris, doesn't he? I think
that's right. It's the other way round. Lancashire, yeah. I mean, there's those subs, Lancashire, Goodrum, and Plachetta made so much difference to them.
But they're all good players, aren't they? Goodrum is someone who was really highly rated, but for some reason just totally fell out of the team, and he's sort of only come back into it for the last 2 games. And Lancashire was named in the England under-21 squad at the start of the season, and by the end of the cycle, I reckon he will be in the under-21 strike.
Joe,
we keep talking in the group about, is there anyone who's on loan somewhere that might try and get redirected here? Maybe Lancashire's one of them, because
I'm sure Gelhardt's going to come up again later.
He's got a really, really nice profile for how we play as well, I think.
Yeah, look really good. They look really sharp, and unfortunately our subs just didn't. Jack Clark had one of those evenings when he was just again running into traffic a bit when he came on. The young Furlong one was an interesting one, was it? Was that a surprise a bit?
I thought he was going to come on the wing, and as well, Joe. Nunes kicked the bottom of someone's foot like a
but a nasty one.
That looked painful. That was an Ulrich Le Pen on Michael Ricketts, wasn't it?
I was hoping Young was coming on for Furlong in that regard, because at the Wrexham game last week, I mentioned on the pod last week that he was just like Furlong against Wrexham, not quite as much against Oxford, but at this stage of the game, he just had 0 defending to do, and he was our spare man, but he doesn't have a huge amount of quality going forward. So if you can have a spare man at right back, let Ashley Young be that spare man, because the way he passes the ball forwards just sets you moving. And I think the chance that McAteer sort of tries to cross where maybe he should shoot, it comes from a lovely pass from Young into, I think it's into Hurst's feet or Nunes' feet or Akpom's feet, and then it sort of gets turned around the corner. Akpom then ends up to the back heel, which McAteer picks up and blasts it across. We then have another good chance where McAteer makes a really, really good run, gets the ball across, and Azon, who has come on for Nunes at this point, and he does everything right, but Jamie Cumming makes a brilliant save. that was about, and then the ball ends up with Nunes, who blasts one at goal, but it gets blocked, and Clark can't quite get enough power in the shot away. But so we still had chances after it. You still walk away from that
But
game.
every Ipswich fan in the world, Joe, when as on the point blank save is like, okay,
game over.
we're not scoring tonight, are we?
No, and it does feel like that. And that's sort of what I was saying before about because if we'd have won that game 2-1, it would be we did just enough to win that. If we'd have drawn it, it's we did deserve that because we did have a lot of chances. Because we lose it, it's we're not very good and everything's wrong with Ipswich Town at the moment, and we need to sort it all out. And sort of it's that real outcome bias at the end of it, whichever way that game ended has sort of meant we've had so many more messages on the Telegram group. I'm sure there's been some ludicrous stuff said on X and TWT forums about it as well. And I'm sure there's more stuff in the comments tonight about how things are going wrong because of it. We're sort of 6 unbeaten going into it, and we just end up on the wrong side of a tight game and on a game we should have ended up on the wrong side of. But we keep saying that this season, and it is the case. We keep saying it, so at some point something needs to change with regards to it, or we're going to be in a bad place in a few weeks' time.
I mean, Dave, Joe is right to say all of those things. I think the problem I have with the defeat is just how hapless it was. And I can't think of a good analogy. Something like if it's like a boxing match and there's only one way boxer A can beat boxer B, and everybody knows it's the
Fabio Ward. It's the Fabio Wardley, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a boxer. It's the right hook, and then you get beat by a right hook, and you're like, come on. And I know there's there's always the argument between knowing what a team's strengths are, and we know all about Gary Rowett, and there was this game of chess between us playing short and him moving the defensive line up, and then a long ball to Hurst, and then Oxford immediately go back 5 meters, and then we play it short. And they did Oxford, and this is a stupid thing, is that we can be, as a fan base, Ipswich, Dave, furious about it and think it's a dumbass defeat, and Oxford fans can be, that's a great win, that's a great underdog win, and both fan bases can be exactly right, viewing the game completely different. I'm rambling.
It's just the manner of the goals, I think. It's the manner of the goals. The first one is a giveaway. We give the first one away, and the second one is just a classic beating by transition, which is what you said. It's the only really way they were gonna, other than a Vokes long throw, and that was a disappointment. If you lose a game like that, okay, one individual mistake, and the winning goal is a worldie from 30 yards. You just say, fair enough. It just wasn't our night. Yeah, again, we didn't take our chances. But if you lose to a goal like that, you lose to a goal. But it was just the way we lost was so disappointing. And look, again, great finish by Plachetta, but yeah, it's just terrible goal concede. Really, you immediately see flashback on the line. McKenna straight on his iPad, seeing what transition, what went wrong there. You could just see it, and something was badly wrong. Well, it was a pass from Taylor. Everyone was out of position, and a crap nothing pass from Taylor.
But Gary Rowett is a really good championship manager.
Oh, he's great, Joe.
At this type of club where you've got a smaller budget, you're up against teams.
Us against them.
I think they've played Coventry at home this year and drew Middlesbrough. They drew with, didn't they? They've got a good record at that stage.
The more up against it and the more in the mire they are, the better they are at pulling out results like this. Oxford under Rowett.
And like you said, they had a very, very narrow route to victory, but they navigated it well and
nailed it.
Yeah, and they nailed it with a bit of help from us, whether that be giving them a goal, whether that be missing chances. But that's the only way they were going to win that game. Everything had to fall in their favour for them to win that game, and it did. And I'm not saying it's pure luck. We missed chances because their keeper made fantastic saves. That we gave them a goal because of a silly mistake, but then when we gave them the second chance, he took it fantastically.
And they're pressing well. Yeah, as the mistake is made. So
their narrow route to victory involved their keeper playing really well and taking chances very well if they got them, and they did that. So it's not they haven't nicked it in any way. I'm not trying to claim that they deserve their victory in the same way.
They worked out. They're good. I thought
good side, but the only way you can for a team like Oxford to beat a team like us is to get that little bit of fortune you need, and unfortunately, we seem to be on the sort of quite a generous side at giving it away when we need to.
I tell you what, we'll get onto it in a minute. Hull are back in the playoffs. Christ knows how. They're a lot better side than Hull. Certainly on the night they were a lot better side.
Well, that'll be a theme we can pick up when we look at the. Why don't we move to that segment? But first of all, here's a word. I think we said quite enough. I'm sure it's coming back up in the questions segment later. I think that'll do for now on Oxford 2, Ipswich 1. Here is a word. Calm yourselves to the dulcet tones of Mikey, and a word from our show sponsors at Atwell's.
Blue Monday is brought to you in partnership with Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for property and business law. Whether you're buying a home, starting a business, or just need legal guidance, our dedicated team has got you covered. Trust our award-winning customer service team to handle your legal matters with care and expertise. Find out more at atwells.com or visit us at our offices in Ipswich, Colchester, London, and our new location in Woodbridge.
There you go. It's the calmest 30 seconds you're going to hear this podcast, isn't it? Hey, plenty going on the Blue Monday platform this week. Beyond the Scoreline will be out tomorrow for our wonderful top tier members. There will be a Blackburn preview as well. That is top tier exclusive. And then the Blackburn live reaction will be down the main feed. We will have, I'm going to be chatting to Matt SB. And the problem is he's a Coventry YouTube. I'm getting quite annoyed talking to Coventry fans at the moment because they're quite an excitable bunch. But Matt's a good lad. So that will take the place of the pre-match show with Seb and Rich away. And we're going to be back on the Flagship on Sunday, having played runaway leaders, Coventry City. Shall we have a look, David and Joe, at what went on in the EFL Championship in round 18? Leicester 2, Sheffield United 3. Leicester aren't very good, and Sheffield United scored 9 points in a week. Pompey 0, Bristol City 1. I think that's Pompey in the bottom 3 now. Stoke 1, Hull 2, which really sums up the complete open door in the... Well, I'm not even going to say in the playoff race, in the automatic promotion race. There is one good team in the league this year, and they happen to be very good, and they're Coventry. And we play them next week, and they beat Charlton 3-1. They've now scored 50 goals this season. Middlesbrough 2, Derby 1. And again, talking about the open door, they were behind. They huffed and they puffed. They scored a couple of set plays, and they won the game. Millwall 3, Southampton 2. Millwall are third. They won in the 97th minute. And Norwich 3, QPR 1. After 14 games on here, not talking about a Norwich win. They finally won 1. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Preston 3. Again, Preston keep up their playoff push here. West Brom 3, Swansea, just 4-3-2s. This division is mental. They came back from 2-0 down, got from Vipotnik in 11 seconds in that game. Wrexham 1, Blackburn 1. Wrexham look very consistent. Blackburn are good away from home. David, anything you want to talk about in that little lot of fixtures?
Blooming heck, where'd you start with that? So West Brom Mason would have been a spot of bother had they not turned that round, do we think? Certainly. Certainly at Leicester, surely Fuentes is under the scope, surely, or not, nor perhaps not quite yet. But there was some disgruntlement there when I was watching that game when they were 3-0 down. So good goals there. And I'm just looking at the goals. Absolute thronker of a second goal from the... I didn't catch who scored
Caleb
it.
Taylor, Millwall.
Oh, Caleb Taylor. Oh, the first one weren't bad, but that was an absolute thunder. I didn't quite get the bar, but yeah, absolute thronker. Let's give that one. But no, again, mad division in it. 3-2 score lines all over the place.
And Joe, we're not coming at this from a position of authority here because we're a big part of the inconsistency, but it's all over the place. This, other than Coventry, this promotion chase, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? It's just, like I say, Hull were terrible against us. they're 1-0 down at Stoke, who are second, and then all of a sudden they turn it around and win 2-1.
And we would expect, Joe, two teams to be tracking 2 points per game.
It's one team, and who's gonna come out from the pack, isn't it? And we just got to hope it's us. But I think there's probably teams more likely to at the moment. But then when you look at the form guide over the last 12, 6, 5, we're right up there in this form guide. We just need to put the actual run together. Like I say, going into Friday's game, we were 6 unbeaten, 4 wins, 2 draws, and you lose one, and you just got to do it again, don't you? You got to do another 4 wins and 2 draws from the next 6, and just try and pull away from the pack. But no, it looks just like Coventry are just gone, and no one's even going to hold on to their coattails. It's just about who can win the. It's almost like a one promotion place available in the league, isn't it? It's like that season where they changed the Premier League teams from 22 to 20. One team goes up.
Oh, poor old Reading lost in the playoffs, didn't they? Yeah. Anything to add there,
No,
Dave? I don't want to be disparaging about these teams, but you could genuinely have a Preston Millwall playoff semi-final or something, couldn't you?
I mean, absolute crazy. I mean, I think if Southampton had held on there yesterday, they'd have been pretty much up there. It's so concertinaed in there. I think if Birmingham win at home, Watford tomorrow night, they'll go above us, I think. Looking forward to someone just said on the chat, not what an attempt fate, but it's some horrific weather due in the northwest tomorrow. I don't. It'll cleared out by Tuesday, but yeah, there were weather alerts all over the place. But must admit, looking forward to seeing Coventry come here on. I'm
not.
We've got to, a team that will come out and play. It'd be interesting to see how we. Well, I think let's face it, that'll be a measure of where we are. If we can get a result at Blackburn, that will set it up. Look, the game's set up really nicely anyway. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing. And they're doing all this again. There's someone else in the chat. Haji Wright hasn't been playing. I don't think.
Oh, Thomas Asante's out for 6 weeks as well. Yeah,
as well.
But they haven't had Rudoni since August. Yeah,
but with that, Sims has started to score goals now, so
Sims looks a real deal at the moment. As well,
powerful. And
I really liked him at Everton, and then when I watched him for Coventry the year when we went up, I just thought, oh my god, you're just such a frustrating player. You just don't do anything, but he's really, really put it together now, hasn't he?
Tell you what was a lovely goal. One of their goals yesterday was Eccles' goal. Was such a simple goal, but what a lovely finish that was. Just cushioned and then just part. And they're 2-0 down. I'm sorry, they're 1-0 down at that point, but absolutely no panic. Receives the ball, opens himself up, just passes it in the corner.
So yeah, look, Grimes missing a bus ahead of the weekend, couldn't we?
He's
a play. No, it would be good. You've got to enjoy those games. Hopefully, we'll get a result on Tuesday, and Portman Road get a win. Well, we'll be up for it, and obviously Stoke the Tuesday after.
Oh God, yeah,
thick and fast.
Yeah, thick and fast. Indeed.
Stoke's the Wednesday, I think, isn't it? But
actually, you're right.
Yeah, it's on main game on Sky, that one as well. Yeah, so I'll have the joy of watching that on YouTube, and lots of people being very spiteful to me at the same time, which is a great way to spend your life, everybody, when your team has parachute payments and apparently everybody hates you. Great fun. I should have said, by the way, get your questions in. We are happy to circle back to the Oxford game, and we don't want this to be an echo chamber of the three of our opinions. So if you disagree, do get your points in. We're quite happy that other opinions do exist other than ours. I made an error in the plugs weekend preview instead of pre-match. That is free to air, not down top tier. So my apologies. I got that wrong. If there's anyone in the known universe who purchased top tier in the 5 minutes since I've said that, on the basis that they were going to miss the preview this week, and you get a bit of a bonus with Matt SB as well, talking some Coventry. But yeah, I don't know. I like Coventry. It's a great story, but do you remember when the Plymouth fans were all a little bit overexcited? It's just a bit much.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Doesn't it? You said that, David Diamond, not me. And Matt SB is a lovely man. Right, get your questions in. Right, I'm going in. What do we got here first? Daniel, if you were going to make squad changes, who do you think will leave? Dave?
I think we covered this pretty much last week. This question pretty much comes up. I mean, I think probably
comes up every week when it gets
every single week. And I think one player comes up time and again. It's Ben Johnson, who I think we all think is on quite a big wage. So you'd think certainly someone like him. And unfortunately, you've got to be looking at the likes of Harry Clark and also, dare I say it, potentially Wes Burns as well.
Sorry, I've clicked the wrong button there. The Shire Shark. Just don't understand why, when we clearly have better players than our opposition do, we don't play with a bit more tempo. Oh, Joe, isn't that a bit like saying, can't we just be better?
Yeah, and I
do think
simple,
isn't it?
There was a little bit when I spoke about their second goal on Friday night, where Jack Taylor tries to force something into the box, and because of that, we're then caught totally out of shape. Where these teams want to sort of sit in and just play on the transition against us, play on the counter against us, we've got to be secure with the ball, and maybe that does slow it down a bit too much. But yeah, it is at times it is painful to watch. But even when on Friday, we were creating enough chances with what we did. With what we had the ball,
created 2 chances with the long ball over the top as well for Hurst, didn't we?
We were mixing it up. We were doing a lot. It's just I think you just have too many people having off days, don't you? And I think on Friday, Philogene had an off day, got a lot of the ball and didn't really come out with anything on it. Egley on the other side had a lot of the ball and sort of just comes back inside. I really think, especially away from home, I'd really like to see sort of McAteer and sort of Wes Burns getting fit and being our main option on that right hand side. Someone that just holds the widths, keeps the pitch wide, keeps the fullback honest, and if they get a chance, they'll get in behind and put a decent crossover. So I personally, as much as I like a lot of what I've seen from Egley, I think he's more going to be an impact sub or playing more in that 10 role. I just don't think that right hand side, when you've got a lot of work to do against teams like Oxford, where they are really, really pushing hard and pressing, and they weren't just sitting back. They were getting on the go when they had the chance to. And I think it was just I just think away from home that it's just going to suit a McAteer or Burns type when he's back fit on that right hand side.
The keeper did make good saves, but really, as we said before, on that final third, it's more often than not, it's poor decision making and just bad execution.
And a part of that is probably because we do move it a bit slow at times, where
maybe
it's harder to put a cross into the box when they've got 9 men back in there than when they've got 5 in there, isn't it?
Maybe right.
Yeah. Rob, we keep telling ourselves that we've got the best squad in the league, but is that only on the basis of what they cost? Few of them are just defined by performance. Dave, before you come in on that, I just got the squad up, and I mean, Jack Clark was an absolute star at this level for Sunderland. Akpom and Smodics were Golden Boot winners. Jaden Philogene was a numbers machine. Yes, this is on the basis of what he cost, but Egley is the most expensive player in Championship history. Nunes has been great at this level for Norwich. Most of the squad that were here before, Taylor obviously had been promoted before. Kayust has played at a higher level. I think so has Matasiwa. I do think they've got the reputation. I don't think it's just the transfer fees, is it, Dave?
No, it isn't. No, we just haven't found that fluidity, that mix. I don't know. We said it before. It takes an injury or suspension or something to strike on something and find the right balance. We just don't quite seem to have found that X factor yet, have we? Not quite. I think we're close. Yeah, we create these chances. When we do create these chances, as we said, they're really good chances. I think we're really close, but it's just not, just for one reason or another, quite not happening. That's not all down to, as we said, it's not all down to squad rotation. It's just not definitively happening at the moment. But look, may happen at Blackburn. Off we go, beat Coventry, and well, there you go, off you go. But yeah, it's and that makes it perhaps a tough watch because the expectation level is just so great with this squad. Yeah, and I think, Joe, that parlays into Amanda's question: why are our players not clinical for Town when they have been for other teams? I always used to think this for John Barnes when I was a kid, when he used to play for England, and I'd think, come on, we should just win the World Cup on the basis of having John Barnes. But I mean, Blackburn and Smodics, that was blindingly obviously set up just to exploit him. So was Sunderland and Clark. Akpom, less, it wasn't all about him, but it's fitting these players into one system where maybe at the other clubs, Joe, they've been the main man.
But I think we have been able to get them all chances. They just haven't taken them, haven't they? Even you look at Akpom, I know he scored the goal against Hull, but against Watford or Wrexham, was it, where he smashes the bar from the edge of the box, where
Charlton.
Six inches low. He scores, actually Charlton, and misses a sort of header against Wrexham, where sort of at the back post, he just sort of glanced it wide, and they've all had chances. They've all had. You look at the team, 52 big chances or whatever we've had as a team, more than anyone in the league, and we're just not taking them. I think Azon's been on the end of a lot of them, and I tell you, it's hard to see any sort of deep dive of stats with him because he's only played in the Spanish second tier, so you can't see whether he is just somebody who is always not very clinical.
You strike me as the sort of guy who would enjoy a deep dive into Spanish second tier data, maybe on a Saturday night.
Oh yeah, it keeps me going, that, doesn't it? But I mean, the players are what they are, and you need some of them to be running hot, and I think it sort of becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, doesn't it? You start scoring a few goals, you start then taking your chances better, and all of a sudden you get a few goals in a few games. And like I say, we said we needed Akpom to have the sort of proverbial one go in off his arse this time last week. Well, he's had that now, so hopefully he'll get a couple more from that stage. But it's just frustrating. They're just not taken. We miss good chances every game. We get into good crossing positions and fluff those positions up every game, and I'm sure every team does, and we're probably ultra critical because we're watching us do it, but it does just feel like we have to work so hard to score a goal.
Trevor, if only my great podcast colleague David Diamond had a pithy aphorism to answer this question. Coventry aside, is the Championship this season very average or very competitive? It is. It's not even a bit of both, is it?
Yeah, it's really not. It is very, very average, I think.
Also very competitive because
no, it is. You're quite right. I'm not going to say it, but it is. But crikey, I've seen some terrible teams, that very, very poor teams. Going by Championship when we were last there, the season before last, it just standard seems to have dropped. Awful.
Well, and Dave, 4 parachute
so much so
teams.
that Coventry are absolutely bombing it.
Dave, you normally follow the money, don't you? 4 parachute teams: 19th, 16th, 14th, 8th. The other 2 teams with money, Wrexham and Birmingham, 9th and 11th.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you've got Preston and Stoke, who have generally been in the bottom half the last few seasons. Millwall have, I believe, lost 3-0 at home to Middlesbrough, 4-0 at home to Coventry. Joe, Millwall lost 4-0 at home to someone else, didn't they? Or they lost 4-0 to somebody else. I know they've lost 4-0
remember
twice, but
I know
it's incredibly inconsistent, isn't it?
I know they're third with a -3 goal difference.
There you go, Dave.
But if we talk about how good Coventry have been this season, and they have been,
they're ridiculous.
But when we were last in this league, we had more points than they did at this stage, and we were second. So let's add even more. So that season was a total one-off. You had 4 teams that were unbelievable, and all, I know basically they sort of chucked at the end of the season when they realised we were up, but really you had 4 sort of 92-point teams in that league. Yeah. It took 4 teams between 92 and 100 points. And
even last season, when the way
Sunderland get there, but like Leeds and Burnley both got 100 points last season, didn't they? And you haven't got teams that are that. Well, you've got one team who could potentially get to 100 this year, but no one else is going to be close. What for us to get there, we'd have to be almost like.
Did you see this? Did you see this coming from Coventry, Ben? Did you see it?
Well, I mean, not to the level it has, because you would have had to predicted that the rest of the league was going to all struggle, and there'd be the big drop off. But Dave, they've won 11 in 12. That's astonishingly good. I thought they'd improve, and there was obviously the weird thing with Mark Robbins and Adi Vivash split up sort of at the start of last season. But I knew they'd recruited well, and they had a good squad. And Dave, they won, I think it was in January they won 8 in a row in January. And I think they won 10 out of 11
I think you're right, didn't they? Yeah,
in this calendar year. And I suppose in theory, if you've got Sakamoto, Van Evik, I'm just thinking of the players that have come to this country, and it feels like they've all stepped up, even people like Thomas and Kitching who've come from lower down, and Thomas Asante as well, all stepped up at the same time. And unfortunately for years, it's been impossible to have a sensible conversation about any famous England player who becomes a manager because people get so emotional about it.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
hopefully, people are realising. And I think Joe Edwards needs some credit as well because he had a horrible time managing Millwall. And my understanding is Frank is a bit Alex Ferguson, Brian Clough. I'm not comparing him. I'm just saying he doesn't do a lot of the coaching, and he's a manager, and Joe Edwards and the other staff are doing a lot of that. But they're absolutely bossing it, and we can.
Because he's good on the telly as well, isn't he? He could be earning £3 million a year working for Sky and CBS if he wanted to. But the fact he's willing to go out and do the hard yards and the long days and being away from his family and doing that to do this job, you want it to work for someone like that, don't you?
Yeah,
maybe not quite to this extent, but
no. Come on, Frank.
Well, let's talk about this. Josie, is this down to management and tactics? And I mean, this feels like the first time there's been a little bit of a little bit of a turn on? No, it's not necessarily true. There are a few people moaning about McKenna last season when we were losing in the Premier League. I'm not saying it's, you can moan about anything you want. It's the whole premise of free speech, that. But where are we on McKenna at the moment, Joe?
Well, for me, you can say management tactics. It's seemingly mentality at the moment, and how that changes, I don't know. And ultimately, if it doesn't, it's the manager who is going to carry the can. It's the manager who is responsible for the mentality of the team. If your striker gets 20 chances and can't score any of them, and your keeper lets it through his hands, and you lose every week, then he's going to lose his job, and someone else will come in and have another go at it. But I don't feel like I'm just sitting here waiting for something to click, because it still feels we're still a little way off that. When we attack, we sort of can sustain it for those sort of 10, 15, 20-minute periods. And when it gets to the stage where we feel like we've really cranked the pressure up, we release the valve. We don't burn it until that goal comes. We don't have those, I don't know, we don't seem to have that desperation to score where we'll do anything to get that goal where we need to. And then defensively, it feels as though one error, whether that's conceding a bad goal or misplacing a pass, and we seem to lose our heads collectively. And I don't say, people say Sam Morsey leadership. Well, Sam Morsey was here last year, and I think we had a lot of the same problems we do now. It's just exacerbated more in this league because we should be winning each week rather than we're hoping to get a bit more. And it's just, I say it's just intangibles. It's really hard to work out and put your finger on what the actual problem is. But if Kieran McKenna doesn't, and we bob around outside the playoffs, he's going to be in a big trouble. And like I say, we know what the goal for the club is this year. It's promotion. That's not to say if he doesn't achieve that, he's going to be out on his ear, because I don't necessarily think it's the case. But he'll be working harder than anyone to turn it around. And we're doing a hell of a lot of stuff right, and it's the things we're doing wrong which is hurting us at the moment, and we'll continue to do so unless something changes, which we need it too soon.
Do you want to have your say on that, Dave, and then we'll probably round up?
Look, I don't know. Is it still a bit of mentality? Is it still? I mean, it shouldn't be. Should 18 games in, still a bit of a hangover from last season, and the terrible season it was, albeit in the Premier League. I'm not sure, but Joe's right. Look, if we come to the end of the season, we're bobbing around playoffs and we don't make it, he's going to be under real scrutiny, because with this squad, we should be up there. And we should be, really, let's face it, with this squad, we should be not just playoffs, we should be looking at that second place, because I think Coventry are gone now. Honestly, I really do. We should be looking at that second place, but we shall see. Just need some, as Joe said, just need some consistency. I guess
you get that 22-23 season where we went up from League One.
Yeah.
We were inconsistent, and then it got to sort of the middle of February. We had that bad draw at Bristol Rovers, and then from that point on, we won 14 of the next 15, and that was when we got Christian Walton saving a penalty away at Bolton when we needed him to. Big chances, big moments, and everything started going in. We were the better team in all those games, but the big moments also went in our favours in it, and we need to find a way.
And that was a much harder race as well, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the key there also, we barely conceded a goal. That was mad. I mean, we scored loads and conceded. We conceded something like 4 or something and scored about 50.
Record for clean sheets, didn't we?
It was mad. Yeah.
You need a bit of luck. You need a bit of variance and stuff to go your way for that to be the case. And we're not getting that at the moment. And hopefully we do. But
I'd be an advocate.
It doesn't
of bringing
just
back
turn.
Deflection FC, Joe. I think that might help us if we
Own
could.
goal, last minute FC, any of these,
Lucky FC, all of those things.
Any of that? Where's that gone? Where's it gone?
Unbelievable. I think we'll park it there. And the great thing with the championship is, another away game Tuesday night up at Blackburn. We will be reacting to it on the platform here. And then, we're 8th and 16 points behind them. But what everyone's looking at, a big kind of barometer game against Coventry coming up at the weekend. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for your comments, all your questions. Thank you to Joe. Thank you to Dave. Plenty of content on the Blue Monday platform this week. Hang on in there, guys. It'll be all right in the end. It's always all right. And even if it's not, we'll still be here anyway, won't we? See you later.